Hello and welcome. I cannot tell everyone how excited I am to see each and every one of you. Our banquet has its own special family. And it's so wonderful to see so many dear faces as we come together yet again to celebrate our shul in our lives and the special place it has in our hearts. I open expressing my gratitude to those who have made this evening a success. Thank you, God. Thank you, Platinum VIP sponsors. Thank you, Silver VIP sponsors. Thank you, our Chai sponsors. Thank you, our supporters. Thank you, our friends. And thank you to my life's partner, Chumi. Tonight, we celebrate 22 years of the shul's communal accomplishments. Tonight, we appreciate 22 years of God's blessing that enabled us to reach this milestone. Tonight, we remember 22 years of coming together every weekend and never missing a single Shabbos morning service. Tonight, we reminisce on 22 years of being there for one another in good times and in tough ones. I pause for a moment and whisper a prayer that God accept the neshama of our beloved David Freeman, David ben Daniel Hirsch, and God give strength to Julie, to the boys, and to the family. Our community's outpouring of love is special, it is beautiful, and it is treasured. Tonight, we reflect on 22 years of spiritual growth and religious connection. 22 is the number of letters in the Hebrew alphabet. 22 is the Jewish number that culminates a full cycle in the Jewish liturgy. 22 years is a long time, a generation plus. Just this morning, I spoke at the bris of a grandson of Alex and Julie Feldkai in the very same room that I spoke almost 20 years ago for their son Aaron. At that time, my picture ended up on the front cover of the Heritage Jewish newspaper. Looking at that picture this morning, I realized I did not have a beard then. And today, it is quickly turning gray. In these past 22 years, together we have reached great heights. Together we have matured. Together we have developed. Together we have accomplished. But at the very same time, we as a shul community must now ask ourselves hard questions. The very same questions whose rumblings are being heard now throughout our great country. Has our beloved United States of America and our Calabasas Shul aged? Has our United States of America reached its apex point? Has our United States of America and our Shul reached the beginning of its end? While I know that each and every one of you join me in praying for our beloved United States of America and for its continued strength, when it comes to the Calabasas Shul, I stand before you tonight as the rabbi and commit myself anew as I did 21 years ago. Though we have certainly reached the end of our beginning, we are by no means even close to the beginning of our end. While we are celebrating our ascent, it is that of a graduation and a stepping stone to reaching far greater achievements that have perhaps proven elusive until today. On September 12, 1962, President Kennedy stood at Rice University and told this great country that it must look upward towards space and lead the world in its exploration. The president boldly said the words, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade. We choose to go to the moon not because it is easy, but because it is hard. It is a challenge we are willing to accept. It is a challenge from which we will not be deterred. It is a challenge we are determined to win." And on July 20th, 1969, 8 years later and 8 days shy of my birthday, Apollo 2 put man on the moon. Tonight, I echo those motivating words of President Kennedy. We choose to build an Orthodox community synagogue in Calabasas, not because it is easy, but because it is hard. We choose to sit with the mechitza in the synagogue, not because it is desired, but because it is required. We choose to connect and commit to Judaism, not because it is convenient, but because it is true. Tonight, I'd ask those of you who have been with us since the Shul's early years, please join me in drinking from the fountain of youth and dye not your hair, but your mind. We all have far more strength than we think we do. And let us recommit to strengthening the shul that we built. To those that have come recently, let your newfound love continue to find its special sparkle as on the day you first met your beloved. Judaism's central tenet is the Shema. It instructs us to see the world as the Word of God as fresh as on the day it was given. Building a Jewish community demands mental energy and emotional commitment. And tonight I ask that each of you join me in this pledge, not because it is easy, but because it is hard. The great Yogi Berra once said, "If you don't know where you're going, you might not get there." These words are far truer for our spiritual dimension than our physical one, far truer for a community than for an individual. We need to set our eyes, aims, and energies on reaching new heights in the coming year. We need to bring back our learner service and ensure that everyone can experience a prayer service that speaks to their level. We are blessed with a JLP that is currently reaching over 30 children. They are learning about Judaism, Torah, Siddur, Hebrew reading and writing, and the land and state of Israel. But there are so many more children that we need to share this secret of our nation's vitality with. There is no replacement to Torah, and only it guarantees the future of the Jewish people. In the coming years, we need to double our size and offer this beautiful program to more children in Calabasas and beyond, so they have this chance. We must not be deterred from the challenge, though it is hard. Calabasas Shul needs to serve as a center for Jewish growth for adults too, or perhaps especially for adults. Kids will only follow when we, the adults, serve as honest role models for them. If there was ever a generation of do as I do, it is today. There are so many distractions that pull for our attention, and we are maxed out on our multitasking. Therefore, when we commit ourselves to something, to anything, it shows that this is the most important thing in my life right now. When we turn off our cell phones when eating dinner with our spouses, when we turn off our cell phones when putting our children to bed, when we turn off our cell phones when entering the synagogue, we are saying to our spouses, children, God, and ourselves that what I am doing now is the most important thing for me to be doing right now. We say it not by our words, but by our actions, and they feel it. If your bucket list has spirituality on it, you will only get there if you have a plan. We need to recommit ourselves to Torah study, as it is the fountain of youth and the tree of knowledge of our people. We need more classes. Rabbi Dovi Soltz is here in this room tonight. He is willing to use his lunch hour to share his wisdom with our community. And we need to grab that opportunity. In this coming year, we need to bring more rabbis and rebbitzins to Calabasas, as we recommit to creating the opportunities for each of us to learn Torah, thereby deepening our faith, strengthening our commitment, broadening our knowledge, and enhancing our love for our Judaism that stands at the center of the Garden of Eden. We face this challenge as individuals and as a community, not because it is easy, but because we stand undeterred by its difficulty. Just yesterday, we celebrated the miraculous reunification of Jerusalem and its return to Jewish control for the first time in over 2,000 years. Today, we as Jews can do what was impossible for us just 50 years ago. To stand at the Kotel as Debbie Lusky did just a few days ago, and touch King Solomon's stones, feel its energy, be invigorated by its history, and enhance our yearning. Tonight, I am proud to share with you that the Calabasas Shul has been chosen as a partner of the JWRP, that first-class high-energy women's initiative, to bring a group of women from Calabasas and the West Valley to Israel in the coming year to touch those very stones. We do this not because it is easy, but because it is hard. There is no place in the world for spiritual growth like Israel. And there is no one in the Jewish family like the mother of her home. She is the secret to all that drives our families. And we commit ourselves to finding Jewish women and helping expand Israel's magical connection with ourselves, with them, with their spouses, and with their children. As a community, we need to dream big. We need to encourage ourselves, our family, our friends, and our neighbors to join us and together grow spiritually. Young and old, fresh faces and old-timers, FFBs and Baal Tshuvos, religious and not yet religious. Not because it is easy, but because it is hard. This is our shul. This is our religion. This is our God. Tonight, I turn to each of you that have pledged of your time and of your wealth, and I ask that you be my partner and commit to a year of positive change, a decade of spiritual growth, and a generation of Jewish commitment. Join me, and before this decade is out, we will reach far beyond anything we could have dreamed of. Tonight, I close with a prayer and a pledge for our beloved Calabasas Shul, echoing the immortal words of President Reagan. Our best days are yet to come. Our proudest moments are yet to be. Our most glorious achievements are just ahead. To initiate our next decade of growth, we need a superstar in inspiration and motivation. And tonight, I am honored to introduce Rabbi Yoel Gold to share a story as only he can. Rabbi Gold has his own page on Eish HaTorah's world-class website because he is that good. I and tens of thousands of others await each of his video stories. Some make us laugh and some make us cry. But they all make us think and challenge us to become more than we are today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for joining me in your commitment. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor and pleasure to introduce you to Master Storyteller, Rabbi Yoel Gold.
Wow, thank you, Rabbi Van. And congratulations to all of you on 22 years of some amazing achievements. I have a cousin who grew up in Los Angeles. Maybe some of you might know him. His name is Frank Mendel. He was a criminal lawyer for many years, and he lives in the East Side today in Manhattan. And around 6 months ago, he was on a plane, an American Airlines flight that was leaving from Newark Airport, heading to Dallas, Texas. And he was sitting next to his business partner. His name is Chaim Kaufman. And the plane started pulling out of the gate, and the pilot gets into the PA system, and the pilot says, please turn off all of your electronic devices, your phones. We're about to take off. So Chaim turns to Frank and says, Frank, I forgot to make this really important call. So Frank says, you can't make the call anymore. The pilot says, turn off your phone. He says, no, I really have to make this call. So Chaim reaches into his pocket to take out his phone, and all of a sudden he shrieks, oh no! And Frank says, what's wrong? He says, I forgot my phone at the charging station at the gate. And I got all the contacts, all of our meetings, our entire schedule is on that phone. So as he's panicking, there's a flight attendant walking by, and he grabs his sleeve, practically grabs his sleeve, and he says, please, sir, I forgot my phone at the gate. I know the plane is moving and there's no way we can get it back, but could you contact the gate to have them put my phone in lost and found so when I get back, I can get my phone? And the flight attendant looks at him, his name was Steve Cooley, and says, please wait here, I'll be right back. He runs to the cockpit where the pilot is, he disappears for 4 minutes, comes running back to Chaim Kaufman, hands him his phone and his charger. And he says, here, please don't forget it again. So Chaim looks at him and Chaim says, how did you get my phone? The plane is moving. He says, well, I got to tell you, I went to the pilot. I told him there's a passenger on the flight who forgot his phone, his cell phone, at the gate. The pilot was in touch with the tower, the air traffic controller, who contacted the gate. There was a janitor there, told the janitor that the flight is just pulled out of gate 35, and he should get the phone from the charging station and somehow get it back onto the plane. The janitor runs to the charging station, grabs the phone and the charger, runs out onto the tarmac, and sees one of those catering trucks with a scissor lift, and runs to the driver and says, you see that plane over there? Flight 1509, get into that plane! The driver takes the phone and the charger, zooms over there. He's able to drive and control the scissor lift, raises the scissor lift, it's used usually to be able to place all the food on the plane, and raises it to the height of the plane and really drives along with the airplane and waves to the pilot, here's the phone! And the pilot opens the cockpit window, throws it in, hands it to the flight attendant next to him, who hands it to Chaim Kaufman. When I heard the story, I said, okay, lesson number 1, always fly American Airlines. But when I contemplated and I thought about it, I said to myself, wow, this is amazing. There are 5 people, a flight attendant, a pilot, an air traffic controller, a janitor, and a truck driver coming together, each one in their own profession, with their own job, stretching themselves a little bit beyond their comfort zone, working together to do what seems to be impossible. Isn't that amazing? What all of us together can accomplish? When we work together, what's possible? But you know what's even more amazing? As Chaim Kaufman gets his phone back, he puts it in his pocket, Frank turns to him and says to Chaim, he says, Chaim, I gotta tell you, do you realize that had you not put your hand in your pocket to make that phone call, you never would have remembered on time, and there's no way you could have gotten your phone back then. So tell me, Chaim, who are you about to call? What was so important? So Chaim turns to Frank and says, I'll be honest with you. I've got an elderly mother. She lives alone. She's not so well. She's lonely, and I just wanted to call her to say goodnight. And when Frank told me the story, I thought to myself, wow, she's really the unsung hero. She was really what triggered 5 people to work together to do the seemingly impossible. When a community comes together, there has to be a trigger. There has to be a reason. There has to be a meaningful goal. There has to be a shared value of why we come together and why should each of us stretch ourselves beyond our comfort zone to contribute to a cause. And by the way, like the mother who's the unsung hero of the story, I don't even think she knew what she did. The cause tonight that we all are here for is to connect and support Calabasas Shul, Torah, and Judaism. And I just want to give a shout out to Rabbi Van and his wife, the unsung heroes. I hear Rabbi Van thanking everybody else, but I want to just congratulate Rabbi Van. 22 years of selfless leadership, incredible vision, and genuine warmth. Please, a round of applause to our rabbi. So one of my great passions in life is to share stories. I love to share a good story, and around a year ago I started making videos, these short 3 to 4 minute videos of any story that I found inspirational. And thank God our last 3 videos have been seen by over 500,000 people. And because of it, I get so many emails with different stories. And I want to share with you a story that I feel is really appropriate for tonight, that illustrates how 2 communities of people came together from across the world, and the uniter was their Judaism, their heritage, and Torah. So let me share with you the following story that happened in 2012. There is an organization in the East Coast called Right On for Israel. They basically pay for high school students to travel to Israel, so when they graduate and they go to college, they can advocate on behalf of Israel on college campuses. So one of the leaders on the trip is a fellow by the name of Rabbi Yotav Eliach. Rabbi Yotav Eliach is a principal in a school. Okay, thank you. I see you know him. A very special man, and he's one of the core educators on the trip. So in 2012, he takes around 60 students to Israel, and they travel north to the south, west and east, all over the place, 2 weeks, a very intense program. And the highlight, the climax of the trip, right before they go back to Ben Gurion Airport, is Har Herzl. And, Rabbi Yotav Eliach says that it's really very, very difficult for him to always, that's really the most difficult part of the trip, to be able to go to Har Herzl, because he has so many friends, and he has so many friends that have children buried there. And, it's difficult because usually the young bury the old, and on Har Herzl, the old bury the young, because every other grave is 19, 20, 21, 22 who gave their lives, people who gave their lives for the state of Israel. And as he walks through the cemetery with his group, they notice that there's a couple, an elderly couple standing next to a grave, and the mother is crying hysterically. And she's crying, and the father is standing right behind her and is just quiet. And they decide to approach the mother, and they assume that she probably has a son buried there. And they gently ask her if she can share something about her son with the group. And there was actually a picture on the grave, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful picture of a youthful-looking teenager. And he had this big smile, a good-looking guy. And they assumed he must have been buried there. His name is Erez Deri, 21 years old, fought in the Lebanon War in 2006. He was a paratrooper, and he was killed. And the mother says, it's interesting. She starts telling them about her child and how he died 6 years earlier. And as they look at the grave, they realize that it's not really his yard site. It's not really the day that he died. He said, what are you guys doing here today? Why are you here today? So she says, it's interesting. My son came to me in a dream last night, and he said to me, Mom, I never had a chance to get married. I never had a chance to stand under a chuppah. And I want to ask of you, if you can please dedicate a Sefer Torah for my soul, for my neshama. And when you dedicate a Sefer Torah, you make a chuppah. And let that be my chuppah that I never got to stand under. And then he said, Mom, if you go to the cemetery tomorrow, you'll meet some really good people. And when you get the Sefer Torah, leave the last few letters to write them in my room. And the parents, by the way, had their room, their son's room, Erez's room. They never changed it. They never touched it. 6 years. It was like a memorial for them. And he says, please come to the home, our home, and write the last letters and then dedicate it to the shul. So she says, here we are. And I don't know what to do. So Rabbi Eliach was so moved. He immediately called his friend, Uri Schechter, and who lives in Israel, and he said, Uri, how much is it for a Sefer Torah? He said, Sefer Torah is very expensive. It's around $30,000. He says, do you think it's doable? Like, can we raise the funds and can we do it? And Uri says, just tell the woman yes, and we'll take care of the rest. And he comes back to her. He says, it's taken care of. We're going to get you the Sefer Torah. We're going to come back in a year from now. We come here every year. We're going to come back with a brand new Sefer Torah. And we'll have the party at your house. We'll have the last few letters there. Then we'll go to the local shul where Erez prayed. And we'll dedicate the Sefer Torah for his soul. You had 60 students. Each student took it upon him and herself to raise $600 or $700. They had the Sefer Torah written. And the next year, they all came back. And they came to the Erez home in Maleh Adumim. They wrote the last few letters in the Sefer Torah, and they danced. An entire community from the 5 towns in Long Island danced together with a community in Maleh Adumim. They've never met each other. They didn't know each other. But there's one thing that connected them. It was Torah. It was the fact that we're Jews. It doesn't matter what background you're from. As I look around the room, there's so many different people here with different professions from different backgrounds. Who cares? We are here to support our heritage, our shul, our Torah. And I think it's so appropriate to have this event right before Shavuot. I want to once again thank all of you for coming, supporting this worthwhile cause. We have a shared value here, and it inspires me to come speak at such events. I once again want to congratulate all of you and Rabbi Van. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for listening.
Let the games begin. You take your card, the casinos will now open. The casino, they'll give you the chips at the table. You will then have, at the same time, you will see we are blessed to have the world's best raffle sellers. That is one in our secret arsenal of the Calabasas Shul. We love and welcome your support and appreciate it deeply. You'll see Gabi, you'll see Ronen, you'll see Neil going around. Then to close the evening, we will have our raffle for the prizes as well as our raffle for the chips so that everybody goes home, if without a prize, but with great things. Thank you so much.
We can try to get down to
I'm done. Play with glasses, man. Good to see your eyes.
Oh,
No more way. You got to speak English. You can't afford on the video for them to translate from the bottom. So you got to speak English.
It's like learning. Yeah. We just
At the
learn it.
bottom is like, we have no idea.
It is befitting that we should close such a beautiful evening while doing a mitzvah publicly. Today, these days are the days of the Omer. The sad aspect of the Omer is shelo nagu kavod ze lezeh. We're taught that they did not have the proper respect and love that time, and therefore this is a period when we should come together, and it's most beautiful and fitting that as we draw close, edge into Shavuos, as tonight is Rosh Chodesh, and we edge into Shavuot in just 5 or 6 days, where we stood together at the foot of Sinai, united. Ask everyone to rise for a moment. I will say the blessing of Sfiras HaOmer. Last night was 44. Then we will count and do this mitzvah together as a community. Please listen to the bracha. You can answer Amen at its culmination, and then we will recite it word for word together, the count. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidishanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu al sfiras haomer hayom chamisha ve'arba'im yom shehem shisha Shavuos Ushlosha Yamim Laomer. Today is the 45th day, which is 6 weeks and 3 days to the Omer. And we whisper a prayer that God should restore us back with the temple where the Omer was bought. Harachamanu Yachazir Lanu Avodas Beis HaMikdash Limikoma Bimhera V'Yameinu Amen Selah. An evening of gratitude. We pause and we thank those that made this evening such a beautiful evening. We thank the event center, and we want to especially mention, I hope they're in the room at this second. They were here the entire time. Sarah and Kimberly from the event center. Really, they have been attentive throughout to make sure everything we need is taken care of, and we appreciate it so much. We thank Michelle Shires, from A Pocket of Time for doing the photography for this evening. We thank Mark Franklin, who's always behind the bright lights. We thank Full House Casino for giving us such a fun time at the tables. And we thank the team of Culinary Creations for giving us our culinary delight. We're going to do first the red tickets for the gambling. We're going to call the world's top sellers of raffles ever. We're going to ask Neil Yeshin, Ronan Drury, and Gabi Mashal each to please pick one ticket. We thank Gabe Weiss for these one-of-a-kind wines.
The winner of the first grade piece of paper that my wife wrapped, 1914657. 19. I only sell winning tickets.
One 4681.
Drum roll, please.
191 4 8 2 0.
We're going to ask 3 individuals that give themselves for the shul in a quiet fashion, but in a wholehearted fashion. We're going to ask. Serious moment. We're going to ask the president of the Calabasas Shul, Steve Kurtz, to please come up to represent the board of directors. We're going to ask Anna Simon as the director of the JLP and all that she gives to that beautiful program that we heard about. I'm going to ask Diana Numanim, who gives of herself. She's the quiet power behind the office. And now I'm going to give the microphone over to Steve, and then we will pick the grand winners of the Banquet Raffle 2016.
Good evening. Okay, and thank you guys all. Without you guys, this banquet would not have been the success that it is. And this really turned out well. This is probably one of our better attended, not attended, but better. Lost. All right, I'm done. No, again, thank you guys for all of your love and support. We did a lot better than we thought we would, so we're very happy. And without further ado. White card. Yellow.
Preferably mine.
No. Whatever it says, just call my name.
The winner is not.
For the winner of the Tierra gift certificate to enjoy the evening,
Matt and Lauren Bernstein.
we won't tell if you don't. The winner of the iPad Air,
Nicole Hoffman.
and now for the grand prize winner to touch the cool stones of the Kosel, we turn to Steve.
You guys ready? Yeah. Drum roll. Do you want to know who it is? And are you guys anticipating? Any guesses? I know who it is. No, can't change it. You know, I didn't bring my reading glasses. Anna, can you help me come and read this, please? I did not bring my glasses. I'm sorry.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov, everyone. Thank you all for coming and making it such a special evening. We'll be davening Mariv up on the second floor. Thank you all again for making it one of the greatest ever. Good night.